Chapter 9. Trials and Triumphs, the 1901 Train Accident and Recovery Hook. 1. A crash in the night. Destiny appended. The night air was thick and still as Annie Oakley drifted off to sleep in her train berth, the rhythmic clatter of wheels on tracks a familiar lullaby after 17 years of traveling with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Without warning, catastrophe struck, a deafening roar, a shuddering impact, and then chaos. In those harrowing moments, Annie's world was upended, and the course of her legendary career was forever altered. Hook 2. The Price of Stardom. When the show stops for over a decade, Annie Oakley had performed feats of precision and daring for audiences around the world, but the 1901 train wreck in North Carolina forced her to confront a different kind of challenge, one that no amount of skill or determination could simply shoot away. As she lay injured and unconscious among the wreckage, the sharpshooter who had defied every odd now faced her most daunting opponent, fate itself. Hook 3. From spotlight to shadows. A hero's hardest battle. Fame often shields its heroes from life's harshest blows, but not always. For Annie Oakley, the aftermath of the train accident was a descent into uncertainty and struggle. The woman who had split cards and snuffed flames with a bullet was now fighting for something far more precious than applause: her health, her spirit, and her very identity. A catastrophe on the rails. The 1901 train wreck. On a fateful day in 1901, the Wild West show's train was traveling through North Carolina, loaded with performers, crew, and the living heart of the show, over 100 horses and animals essential to their grand spectacles. In the early hours, disaster struck. The train collided head-on with another, in what would become one of North Carolina's most infamous rail accidents. The aftermath was horrific. Twisted metal, shattered wood, and the cries of both people and animals filled the dawn. The toll was staggering, with the loss of over 100 horses and animals, a devastating blow for a show built on the mythos and magic of the American frontier. Annie Oakley's ordeal. Injury and uncertainty. Annie Oakley, ever the consummate professional, was asleep in her berth when the collision occurred. The impact hurled her from her bed, leaving her unconscious and buried in the wreckage. Frank Butler, her devoted husband and partner, braved the chaos to find her. Reports say he carried her from the ruined train, his relief at finding her alive tempered by the severity of her injuries. Oakley's physical injuries were grave. She suffered spinal trauma and temporary paralysis. Some accounts, likely exaggerated by the newspapers of the day, claimed that the trauma of the event turned her dark hair white overnight, a testament to the shock and terror she endured. Whether or not this detail is literal, there is no doubt that the experience marked her deeply, both physically and emotionally. The end of an era, leaving Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. For 17 years, Annie Oakley had been the Wild West show's greatest star, dazzling crowds across continents and redefining what women could achieve in public life. The train accident, however, forced her to step away from the relentless travel and strenuous performances that had defined her career. It was a devastating decision. The Wild West show had been more than a job. It was a family, an adventure, and the stage upon which Oakley had built her legend. But the physical demands of the show were now beyond her reach. She could no longer ride, travel, and perform with the same vigor and frequency. Yet, as with every challenge in her life, Annie Oakley faced this setback with resilience and pragmatism. Rather than retreat into obscurity, she sought new ways to share her talents and inspire her audiences. The road to recovery, strength, support, and determination. Oakley's recovery was long and arduous. The injuries she sustained required months of rest and rehabilitation. During this period, Frank Butler's devotion was unwavering. He nursed her through her pain, managed their affairs, and encouraged her to believe that life after the Wild West show could still be meaningful. Oakley's determination, honed by years of discipline and hardship, was her greatest asset. Slowly she regained her strength. Though she would never again perform the most physically demanding feats of her youth, she refused to let the accident define the rest of her life. A new stage, reinvention through theater and demonstration. Once she regained her health, Annie Oakley turned to the theater. She starred in a stage play called The Western Girl, a fictionalized account of her own extraordinary life. The role allowed her to perform for audiences while respecting the physical limitations imposed by her injuries. Oakley brought her trademark humility, wit, and skill to the stage, endearing herself to a new generation of fans. In addition to acting, Oakley continued to give shooting exhibitions and demonstrations, though these were less strenuous than the grueling schedules of the Wild West show. She traveled across the country sharing her story and her skills, and continued to teach women the art of marksmanship, her commitment to female empowerment undimmed by adversity. Resilience in the face of adversity. The train accident could have ended Annie Oakley's public life, but instead it became another testament to her unbreakable spirit. She adapted, reinvented herself, and found new ways to connect with the world. Her willingness to persevere, to keep moving forward despite pain and loss, inspired not just her fans but also her peers. A woman should never let adversity defeat her. If one door closes, another opens. This philosophy, lived out in Oakley's recovery and reinvention, became a beacon for those who faced their own hardships. Legacy of the accident: a changed but unbroken star. The 1901 train accident marked the end of an era in Annie Oakley's career, but it did not end her influence or her legend. She continued to perform, to teach, and to advocate for women's rights and self-sufficiency. Her courage in the face of physical and emotional trauma endeared her to the public and added a new layer to her already formidable reputation. In the years following the accident, Oakley's image shifted from that of an invincible sharpshooter to that of a survivor, someone who had faced the unthinkable and emerged changed, but unbowed. She became a symbol not only of skill and daring, but also of resilience and hope. Conclusion: triumph beyond the target. Annie Oakley's story did not end with the train wreck. Instead, it entered a new chapter, one marked by adaptation, inner strength, and a refusal to be defined by misfortune. Her ability to find new purpose and to continue sharing her gifts with the world stands as a powerful reminder that true greatness is measured not only by what we achieve, but by how we respond when life knocks us down. For Annie Oakley, the greatest victory was not in splitting cards or snuffing candles, but in rising, time and again, to meet adversity with courage and grace.